You hear that? Just a tick. A heartbeat of time. But this isn't just any watch. It's a watch that survived the trenches of war. A watch that was there the very moment a train came off its tracks. A watch that traveled beyond the earth itself, and almost never came back. And here's the mystery. Each time tragedy struck, this watch didn't just break. It stopped. At the exact second disaster hit. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe, this watch isn't just keeping time. Maybe it's choosing when time should end. Watches are strange things, aren't they? Tiny machines strapped to our wrists, carrying the weight of our lives. For some, a watch is just a tool. For others, it's a status symbol. But for those who pass them down, it becomes a piece of family. A silent witness to everything we do. This watch? It wasn't luxury. It wasn't famous. But it has seen more than any human ever should. 4 owners. 4 lives. 4 tragedies. And somehow, one mystery tying them all together. Our journey begins in 1916. The world was on fire. A young soldier named Thomas Green, barely 21, from a quiet Kansas town, was packing for war. He had never left America. Never seen the ocean. And yet tomorrow, he'd be sent to the front lines of Europe. That night, his fiancée Mary gave him a gift. A simple wristwatch, leather strap, nothing more. She held his hand, whispering through tears. "Come back to me. Every time you look at this watch, remember, I'll be waiting." And so Thomas wore it into the trenches. Through mud and blood, through nights filled with shells and screams, he wound that watch each evening. The tick kept him sane. The tick reminded him he wasn't alone. But one morning, as dawn broke over the battlefield, everything changed. Artillery thundered. Men screamed. And Thomas was struck. He fell, clutching his chest. And right then, his watch stopped. The hands froze at 7:14 a.m. Forever locked at the moment his life ended. Weeks later, his belongings arrived back home. Mary opened the box and saw the watch, still and silent. She pressed it to her chest, praying it would tick again. But it never did. For her, the watch became more than metal. It was memory, frozen in time. Years passed. Mary never married again. The watch sat in a box, locked away like a wound that couldn't heal. But decades later, it resurfaced. No one knows how. Maybe it was sold. Maybe it was stolen. But in the 1940s, the watch appeared on the wrist of Richard Lawson, a wealthy New York banker. Richard was not a sentimental man. To him, the watch was just stylish, a relic with character. He wore it daily, flaunting it at his office, his parties, his late-night poker games. But one December morning in 1946, Richard boarded a train for a business trip. It never reached its destination. Halfway through the journey, the train derailed. Dozens were killed instantly, Richard among them. And when his body was found, investigators noticed something strange. On his wrist was the same old watch. The glass shattered. The strap torn. And the hands, frozen. 9:27 a.m. The exact moment of the crash. Another coincidence? Or was this watch keeping score? By the late 1960s, the world was chasing the stars. And somehow, this same watch found its way to an astronaut bound for the moon. How? That's the part no one can quite trace. Some say he bought it at an auction. Others whisper it was gifted quietly, with no record. But what we do know is that when Apollo 12 launched in 1969, that astronaut carried the watch with him. And almost immediately, disaster struck. Just 36 seconds after liftoff, lightning hit the spacecraft. Alarms blared. Systems shut down. For a moment, the mission, and their lives, hung in the balance. And in that chaos, the astronaut later wrote in his diary, something happened. He looked at his wrist. And for a split second, the watch's second hand froze. Then ticked again. The crew survived. The mission succeeded. But he would never forget that moment. In private, he confessed to a colleague. "I swear that watch wanted to stop. Like it was waiting, for us not to return. And yet, once again, it kept going. Waiting for its next owner. Waiting for the next tragedy." By the 1990s, the watch had become an antique. It was found in a pawn shop in Chicago, bought by a man looking for a unique wedding gift. He gave it to his son, Daniel, on his wedding day. "For luck," he said. "May this always keep you on time for love." But luck was not what this watch carried. For years, Daniel wore it proudly. He loved the weight of history on his wrist. He would joke, "This old thing has more stories than me." Until one night in 2001. Driving home late, Daniel's car spun out on an icy road. The crash was instant. Fatal. And when emergency crews arrived, they found the watch. The hands, frozen. 11:46 p.m. The exact moment of the accident. The watch was passed once more, this time to his widow. She swore it ticked again when she picked it up. But only for a second. Then silence. And to this day, no one has worn it since. 4 owners. 4 tragedies. A soldier cut down in war. A banker lost in a derailment. An astronaut who swore it nearly stopped in space. A husband taken too soon. Each time, the watch froze at the exact second life ended. Is it just coincidence? Or is it possible that objects carry more than we know? That timepieces don't just track time, they trap it? Because here's the truth, cases like this aren't rare. From watches recovered at plane crashes, to those found in the rubble of disasters, there are countless stories of timepieces stopping the moment tragedy struck. Are they broken? Maybe. Or maybe, they know something we don't. So now I'll ask you. What do you think? Is this just a series of strange coincidences? Or does this watch, and maybe all watches, hold more than gears and glass? Because time is fragile. Every tick could be the last. And the question is, if your watch could speak, what story would it tell? If you've ever owned a watch with history, or one that's been through something unforgettable, share it in the comments. I'd love to read your stories. And if you want more tales of mysterious objects, of strange histories that blur the line between coincidence and fate, subscribe. Because this journey has only just begun.